Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are wading into, well, one of the most frustrating and, frankly, confusing battles in nutrition history. The myth that eating fat automatically makes you fat. For years, the advice was just cut the fat, right? But the research we've looked at tells a really different story. So our mission today is to cut through that old dogma, extract the truth, and show you why fat, the thing we were all told to fear, might actually be your best tool for, managing appetite, losing weight sustainably, and just achieving better health overall.
Exactly. And the foundational truth, the one that kind of sets the stage for everything else, is that healthy fat, eaten as part of a balanced diet, it's absolutely not going to make you overweight by itself. That idea fat isn't inherently fattening is just crucial to grasp up front. Look, fundamentally, the reason anyone gains weight comes down to a caloric surplus. That's the basic mechanism, right? You can become overweight by eating too many calories from protein or from carbs or, yes, from fat. Simple math.
Okay, that makes perfect sense on paper, like calorie in, calorie out. But that view kind of misses the key insight from our sources. Calories are not created equal. And this is where it gets really interesting because, yeah, a calorie is a calorie in the lab, but in your body, the source of that calorie basically dictates how hungry or full you feel, like hours later.
Precisely. We're shifting from just calorie math to the actual biology of hunger and satiety. Healthy fats, well, they stabilize your blood sugar much more effectively than refined carbs do. And crucially, they trigger satiety signals that just last longer.
And that better satiety, that's the real mechanism that helps you naturally cut your overall calorie intake, isn't it? If you have a meal with enough healthy fat, you're not constantly fighting the urge to snack an hour later. Your brain just isn't screaming for more fuel. Now, compare that to a meal heavy on refined carbs or sugar. Those things spike your blood sugar fast. Then it crashes, and suddenly your body thinks it's starving, right? So it ramps up your appetite. It makes controlling calories feel like this constant, miserable battle pushing you back to the kitchen.
Yeah, it really does. So the big takeaway when you distill all the material is pretty profound. Maybe the best strategy for sustainable weight management isn't obsessively counting every single calorie, but adjusting what you eat. Prioritizing healthy fats and minimizing refined carbs helps maximize fullness and minimize those hunger signals that drive overeating.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly. Let's unpack the specifics now as sort of 4 key reasons why fat actually works in your favor. Let's start with that behavioral trap, the one so many of us fell into during the whole low-fat craze. Reason 1 is what the research calls the replacement trap. Think about it. When you decided to go fat-free, what did you actually end up eating more of? Fat-free salad dressing, fat-free yogurt, those fat-free cookies. Problem is, when you strip out fat, food often tastes, well, bland. So manufacturers replace that hunger-satisfying fat with things that add flavor back, usually hunger-driving sugar, salt, and refined carbs.
That's such a critical point. I think we all remember those products. You'd buy the low-fat dressing thinking, okay, I'm being healthy, but you've actually swapped a filling essential nutrient for something that spikes your blood sugar and makes you crave more food later. You might save a few fat grams right then, but your overall calorie intake probably goes up because you're just hungrier.
It's like trading real substance for a quick, addictive flavor hit that doesn't last.
Right. Okay, moving to reason number 2, insulin stabilization. We hear about insulin all the time, but let's put it in context. Insulin is basically your body's main energy traffic controller. Think of insulin like the gatekeeper managing fuel delivery after you eat. So when you eat a lot of glucose from sugar or refined carbs, it's like a sudden flood of fuel trucks arriving all at once. Insulin rushes out to manage the chaos, directing fuel to be burned immediately. But if there's way too much, too fast, insulin starts sending those excess fuel trucks to the long-term storage facility, which is body fat.
Okay, so how does fat change that picture?
Well, fat slows everything down. Because it takes longer to digest, it slows gastric emptying. It provides a much slower, steadier release of energy. The fuel trucks arrive gradually, not all at once. This keeps the traffic smooth. You avoid those big, dramatic blood sugar spikes you get from refined carbs, which means a much gentler insulin response. Less panic, less need for emergency storage, so less fat accumulation.
Got it. Okay, reason 3 brings us back to appetite reduction, but you mentioned there's both a physical and a hormonal angle here.
Yes, exactly. Physically, it's simple. Fats are the last nutrient to leave your digestive system. They literally sit in your stomach longer, giving you that lasting physical sensation of fullness.
Makes sense. And the hormonal part?
This is where it gets really interesting. Eating fat triggers the release of a hormone called leptin. Leptin is basically the master signal for satisfaction. It travels up to your brain, tells your hypothalamus, hey, the cells are nourished, we've got enough energy. It's like the ultimate hormonal off switch for hunger, helping you stop eating when you've genuinely met your needs.
An off switch, I like that. Okay, and finally, reason 4, which sounds pretty fundamental. Fat is just essential for optimal health, period.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Your body needs certain essential fatty acids, ones it cannot make itself. That means you must get them from your diet for basic life functions to even happen. Avoiding fat entirely means you're basically forcing your body to operate without critical raw materials.
That's a perfect segue, actually, because we need to shift focus a bit beyond just weight loss and talk about the foundational roles fat plays in just overall health. We're talking basic structure and function here.
Right. Fat isn't just stored energy, it provides the literal building blocks for really important systems. It helps balance hormones, which impacts everything from mood to metabolism, and maybe most critically, it literally forms the structure of your brain and your entire nervous system. Your brain is about 60% fat, you know? The quality of your brain structure is directly tied to the fats you eat.
Wow, okay, that's the real aha moment, isn't it? If your brain is mostly fat, then starving it of healthy fats is like trying to build a house with flimsy, low-grade materials. Performance is going to suffer. And this is why the research links healthy fat intake directly to things like better cognitive function, improved memory, maybe even more stable moods. And it's not just structure, it's transport too, right? You mentioned vitamins.
Yes, fat is the transport system for essential nutrients. Vitamins A, D, E, and K, they're all fat-soluble. This means without enough dietary fat, your body just can't absorb or move these critical vitamins around no matter how many supplements you take.
So if you're eating low fat, you might not be getting the benefit of those vitamins.
Exactly. And that transport role connects to a huge range of benefits. Think about inflammation. Healthy fats, especially omega-3s, help support healthy inflammatory pathways. That's huge for reducing chronic aches, improving joint health, and long-term cardiovascular health. Plus, the research points to other benefits you might not immediately connect to fat, like supporting liver health, strengthening bones, because fat helps transport vitamin D. Remember, even promoting better sleep and improving your skin. Once you see fat as fundamental, the benefits just ripple outwards, way beyond the bathroom scale.
Okay, this is crucial then. We've been talking about why fat is good, essential even. But we absolutely have to make the distinction. Not all fats are created equal. If we're using fat strategically for satiety and health, we need to focus specifically on the right kinds, the healthy, unsaturated fats.
That's the key. We generally group these into monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. These are the ones largely responsible for all those benefits we discussed, supporting good cholesterol levels, reducing harmful inflammation, and so on.
So for someone making a shopping list, what falls into monounsaturated?
Think liquids at room temperature mostly. Olive oil, peanut oil, canola oil, avocados, most nuts like almonds, pecans, cashews, and nut butters. These should really be staples.
Right. And polyunsaturated, that's where the essential fatty acids come in.
Exactly. This category includes those crucial omega-3s and omega-6s. Best sources are oily fish salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring, also walnuts, pine nuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, and oils like sunflower and soybean oil. These are the fats actively working to manage inflammation.
Okay. Healthy fats identified. Now, we have to talk about the other side, the danger zone. Unhealthy fats, specifically trans fats.
Yes, these need to be avoided completely. Trans fats are mostly industrially created through a process called hydrogenation, basically to make liquid oil solid and extend shelf life. The sources are unanimous. They are strongly linked to higher LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, and increased systemic inflammation. And that inflammation significantly raises your risk factors for major problems. Heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes. They offer literally zero health benefits and actively undermine all the positive things we want fat to do.
And the really frustrating part is they're still hiding in so many processed foods.
Yeah.
Anything listing partially hydrogenated oil on the label.
That's the main culprit to look for. So yeah, often found in margarine, vegetable shortening, many commercially fried foods, baked goods like pastries and cookies, crackers, a lot of processed snack foods. You really have to read labels carefully. If you're serious about health, these have got to go.
It really comes down to choice and composition then. Swap out the bad, bring in the good.
Precisely. It's essential to actively include those healthy, unsaturated fats and make a conscious effort to completely eliminate the artificial trans fats. That decision impacts not just your weight, but the fundamental health of your brain, your hormones, your heart, pretty much everything.
So we've kind of come full circle, but hopefully with a lot more clarity now. It isn't eating fat per se that makes you fat. It's eating too many calories overall. And that surplus is often driven by replacing satisfying essential fats with those appetite-spiking sugars and refined carbs. Healthy fats aren't just okay, they're essential building blocks and powerful tools for managing your appetite naturally.
And that really leads us to our final thought for you today, something to mull over. Given everything we know now from the research that fats are literally vital for building your brain and nervous system, for transporting crucial vitamins, what are the real long-term trade-offs we're making? In terms of our mood, our thinking, our overall longevity, when we opt for convenience, when we choose those fat-free products that are often packed with sugar and those harmful artificial trans fats instead. Just something to think about next time you're looking at a nutrition label.